Hello, everyone. Welcome to the patch.
Ashley, what's on your laptop?
This week brought to you by Dollar Shave Club and Trunk Club. Right there, right over there. The Club. We'll get to them more a little later. Flip that thing. Ashley's looking at porn on her laptop.
The sex is gone from the screen now. Okay.
Ashley was looking.
You guys looked at it too.
Yeah, but you're the one with the computer.
Screaming boobs. We had to look.
They're funny.
They're funny. They make you feel funny.
I was just finishing Katawa Shoujo.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Emmy.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been taking my time with it, like letting the relationship blossom slowly.
You don't want to rush into that stuff.
No, and now
it came to fruition. Yeah.
Well, it came to fruition a couple of times apparently, but
I'm stalling because I can't get any internet working on my iPad.
Let's see if I've got internet.
Fucking sucks.
I got a little bit.
We're just this stage is just a black hole.
Yeah, we got to do something. I should actually complain to the tech department about it instead of just bitching on our live stream.
Complain to those guys; they'll get it.
No,
fixed.
it's not their fault.
No,
it's their fault. Anyway, so I know what we're talking about.
We know
about video games and video game news. So I feel like last week I had to sit out. Like I've just been on a Hearthstone tear. It's like I can't possibly be on the patch. All I've been playing is Hearthstone. It still dominated like 99% of my gameplay time this past week.
You feel that's different than your normal gameplay experience. You talk about Hearthstone every time.
Yeah,
right.
But like it's been consuming me.
Okay.
Bad. Like I'm really.
It burns in you like a fire.
Are you? Would you consider yourself like competitive, or
I'm getting
is it just
really competitive
the game...
about it. Like I played it a lot casually before. Now I'm like serious into ranked play.
How many games
What's your rank?
today?
Today I think it's only been like 5 or 6.
All right, and
only
you're right.
5 or 6 games today.
Yeah.
How often do they reset your rank? Or they knock you down a little bit, right?
Yeah, monthly there's a reset, and then depending on how much you had advanced, you go down a bit the next month.
Okay, so what's your rank at now?
Right now I'm 15.
Okay.
So it
what
goes
do they knock you back
25
to?
is the lowest and 1 is the highest. So you work your way up from 25 to 1,
Okay.
and I'm at 15 right now. And according to Blizzard, 75% of players exist between 25 and 15. Like if you can break 15, you're in the top 25% of players.
Wow, congratulations,
so I'm
Gus.
on the cusp of breaking the top 25%.
You're
Until
almost
the reset,
great.
anyway.
Until the reset. That's all I want. Is I just want to hit 14. So I'd be like top 25%.
You want to touch
Right.
the glory before you get slapped back down.
It's hard. It's nerve-wracking because then look at me. I'm talking about fucking Hearthstone again.
Right.
That didn't
Why
come on
wouldn't
last
you?
week because I didn't want to do this.
Continue.
It's topical. It just came out of beta, right? Or something.
A million years ago.
It may feel like that because you've been doing nothing but play the game, but
So once you hit rank 1, then you can reach legendary status where you get like a different icon that denotes your rank, and then you get a number on it, and it means you're like if you have the legendary icon and it has like 400 on it, it means you're the 400th best player in your region.
wow.
So then like once you reach rank 1, then it becomes like a matter of working your way up the legendary.
Now, is this a point system, or do you have to actually overthrow the people that are currently in those positions?
You get for those you have to overthrow. But right now when you're doing ranked play like where I am. So like let's say I went and play, right now like I said I'm 15. If I go in and I play a ranked game, it'll probably match me up with another 15 or 14. If I win, I get a star. You collect enough stars, you advance to the next level. Okay. If you lose a star. You lose enough stars, you work your way back down the level.
You take other people's stars?
Essentially, yes.
Oh, that's some harsh stuff.
That's some
Is
harsh
there a
Hearthstone?
tie? Oh.
No, there are no ties. So it's two contestants enter, 1 contestant leaves with the stars.
Thunderdome.
So it's really, really nerve-wracking, especially when you think you're going to lose or you think you're going to win and then you lose. Motherfucker, I was playing against a warrior the other day. I took him down to 1
And
health
what's your
3
class
different
again?
times. I'm a
You're
paladin.
Paladin.
I took him down to 1 health 3 different times and I still lost that game.
So
I had to walk away for a bit. I almost broke my computer.
how's a warrior different than a paladin?
Paladin's built-in ability is to spend 2 mana and you summon a 1/1 recruit.
Right.
Warrior spends 2 mana and they get 2 armor, so they can build up a lot of defense. So he had a lot of health and defense regeneration in his deck, which was really tough to beat. I couldn't overcome it. Since I play a rush, I have to beat them immediately in the first few rounds. The longer the game goes, my chances.
All right, well, you just outed your strategy to anybody that happens to be watching. If you happen to play against Gus,
what's your username?
Yeah, you want to put that out there too? He's in the top 25% of players, so he should be pretty easy to find.
Right, because there's definitely not millions of those.
No.
I get plenty of people sending me tweets or messages saying like, "Oh, are you Gustavo on BattleNext? Look, I just played you," and I get screenshots like, "Nope." I've not. No one has sent me a screenshot of them playing.
You didn't
So
go
what
in
you're saying
totally
is you're
honest.
not Gustavo.
I'm not Gustavo. Okay.
Or any iteration of Gustavo or Sorola.
I don't know. I'm just not Gustavo. I'll say that much.
But please call me Gus.
Anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's really, really fun. And I've been getting a lot of people who definitely have been tweeting at me saying that they hate me for getting them addicted to the game because they can't stop playing either.
Well, you've made enough time to start Witcher, though, right?
I did. I was gonna segue into that.
That's a good one to talk about.
The thing that I did manage to play this week
Cheers.
was Witcher 3, Witcher Wild Hunt. So, leading up to this, I tried to play Witcher 2 to get into it, and I played some of Witcher 2, but I didn't play nearly enough to.
It's a very good game. I haven't finished it, honestly, but it was...
Witcher 2 or Witcher 3?
Witcher 2, because that was actually one of the first things I did when I started working for Achievement Hunter was a few guides in Witcher 2. So I played enough to make a couple guides, but I didn't have time to finish the game. I need to go back because it actually is really enjoyable, and Witcher 3 kind of builds on that.
Yeah, and I find I'm having... So Witcher 3 is fun so far, but I'm having a similar complaint with it that I had with Witcher 2 in that the combat system feels really clunky and maybe like there's too much going on. Even the interface and stuff that's going on.
Just too busy?
It's like you can lock onto an enemy, you can do a couple of different attacks, you can parry, you can dodge, you can roll.
Yep.
And then there's also the magic. I forget what it's called.
You've got their bombs.
Is it all context sensitive or like the dodging, rolling? I've got it home, downloaded, unlocked. But I'm starting it tonight.
It's just different
since
buttons.
I finished.
Yeah, it's like A is your dodge roll, B is just like a step to the side. So if you want to stay in combat, but like if you need to make some separation, you can have the dodge roll, which is a much larger distance. If you want to stay up close so you can keep fighting, you have just a step. And then
but you could also parry.
There's also counter and block.
Yeah,
which some things can't be blocked and some things can't be parried.
This sounds like too many things for the button on the controller.
Yeah, and we're just in the melee portion of combat. We haven't even touched magic or items yet.
Yeah.
Are there bows and arrows?
There is a crossbow, yes, which is a selectable
which
item.
Is not a bow and arrow, so that's...
It's a crossbow.
It's a bow, and it fires bolts.
It fires bolts, yeah.
Which are like arrows.
They are, but I always feel like crossbows lack a certain style.
Well, apparently, and they mentioned this in The Witcher, apparently Witchers aren't supposed to be using them. It's non-traditional Witcher gear.
So he's a rebel Witcher.
He is. He's breaking with tradition. So,
but the world seems
it is dense.
The world seems like there's so much going on. It's a good looking game. There are some issues with it with like textures popping in and out, especially like when I'm having conversations with people. I'll see like brush behind my guy like disappear.
I used to point out you were playing on Xbox One, as am I.
Yeah. Also.
So I haven't seen the Steam version. I have seen side-by-sides. There's a lot of controversy going into this about how the visuals seem like they'd been downgraded. And I've seen side-by-sides of min versus max detail on PC, and there's not a huge change between the two. So there may be some just engine-level things that aren't turned on. It looks like there isn't any kind of ambient occlusion going on, so there's not a lot of those deep shadowings or good contact. But the main change, it looks like, from what they showed, and this is really common for things that show up at like E3, is they have, when they're first doing the reveal video, they've got that really desaturated, super realistic, kind of gritty look. And then you get the game, it's like, oh, look, there's color in this world.
Yeah.
I think that seems to be the main difference, because they do have some really good lighting effects.
Is there an option, like a setting you can go in and like drag the color slider down?
No, you have to do it on your TV. You just desaturate, turn off the color,
switch it to like movie mode.
There you go.
What game was it? Wasn't there a game that had next gen mode and it like enabled bloom effects everywhere?
That was like a crazy joke or something, wasn't it? Hold on, let me see if I can look that up.
God, yeah, that sounds familiar. I forget what it was. But I mean, other than that, it's still a good-looking game. The character models are really good. The poly counts are pretty decent. The environment is very pretty. The lighting effects are very pretty.
I like also it's a minor thing, and a lot of games have it, but the time definitely moves throughout the day. And I encountered an issue where I was talking to an NPC, and because it was dusk, he was so backlit I couldn't see his face until the sunset. Then I was like, oh, okay, that's what you look like. Cool,
It definitely has, light effects. It's got light shafts, so that fun little thing where light will play across, like if there's a sword or whatever sticking over your shoulder, you get the light beams obscured by the your objects and things like that. So no, I mean it holds up very well for what I would expect of an Xbox One game.
Yeah,
you don't look at it and go, "This is."
I feel like the controls are definitely overwhelming because I'm definitely there's times where I'm like, okay, how do I activate Witcher sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
what skill level did you start it on?
Blood and bones or whatever, the second highest one. So and you don't regenerate health by meditating in that mode, which they don't tell you until you started the game.
You can turn it down in game. You can just go to the options menu and turn it down anytime. I started it on the hardest difficulty just because there was an achievement for it. I was like, usually most games I can just start on the hardest with FPSs. The first fight, I got my ass handed to me.
I died during the training where you're chasing Ciri.
Really?
I'm a big believer in easy mode at all times.
I fell and I died. So I was like, I haven't even encountered an enemy. I'm just learning how to move in the world, and I fucking died.
The game you're talking about, by the way, Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2 had a next-gen filter that was a joke about bloom effects.
Yeah, I knew there was a game that had it.
Leave it to Naughty Dog.
Yeah, it seems like a fun game. I'm not that far into it. I think an hour or two maybe. I've been doing a lot. I'm still in the starting area. I've been doing a lot of the quests and just trying to learn the combat and learn how everything works. And there's also like, we didn't even talk about that. There's like oils and modifications you can do to your weapons.
The crafting
and repairing
and alchemy
them.
is ridiculously deep. Also, it's a really weird system too, where I don't know if have you actually made any of those things yet?
No, I have not.
So the way it works is once let's say with a bomb, you make the bomb. So you have to have the ingredients to make the bomb. But once you've made the bomb, you have bombs. You can run out of them. If you meditate, it refills them.
Oh.
But you still have them.
Okay.
You don't have to make them again.
Okay.
So each one of those formula, once you've created it, you have it.
I think I like that because that sounds like that's easy to manage. If you don't want to meditate, is it possible to buy them again in stores? Like if you go to a shop?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Also, Twitter is telling me that Halo Reach had a mode in Forge, I guess, where you could enable crazy bloom effects.
Cool.
Thank you, Twitter.
That's probably where I remember it from because I didn't play Uncharted.
And if you have Twitter comments, you can tweet us with #thepatch. What was I going to say? So I was talking about The Witcher. So this is a super minor complaint. This is only because I'm playing Hearthstone. I feel like the in-game card game isn't deep enough.
Gwent?
What?
Yeah.
There's like a lot of games, there's like mini games you can play in-game, and there's like a combat
They're
card
pub game, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I feel like it's not deep enough. It's like, okay,
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this game could be better.
You mean it's maybe like a card game?
Yeah, it's like super, super light. It's like, it's super easy to pick up. Like,
No one brings out a D20. I mean, you don't get to pick a class before going in. It's just not up to Gus's level.
you do
versus
kind of pick a
blue?
class because you pick your leader.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
But the leader just has an ability that you
Right.
use once, right?
Right.
Or is it?
But there's also factions in the game, in Gwent. Yeah, but I mean, that's just nerd. That's just because I'm really into Hearthstone right now. And there is a ton of lore. I feel like I'm being overwhelmed. And I've seen a couple of news sites have written Witcher story summaries. So if you really want to learn and figure out what's going on, you can do that. I didn't read any of them just because I want to see how effective the game is at getting me up to speed since I haven't played anything previously. And it's not too bad, but there is a lot of memorization. It's like, wait, what country is that? And who are they angry at?
All right, so it's kind of like Dragon Age. Like you can play it without having played the earlier ones, but it makes a lot more sense if you have.
Yeah, I felt like this game so far has done a better job introducing the world than Inquisition did. And don't get me wrong, I love Dragon Age Inquisition, but if you weren't familiar with like mages and Templars and their relationship, it may have seemed a little arbitrary and weird. But this game it's setting it up a little better, I think.
Have you got to boobs yet?
I have not gotten to boobs
There's
yet.
almost boobs in the introduction.
Oh, yeah, but
Almost boobs. So you got to almost boobs.
There's side boob.
And there's kind of a butt.
And a butt.
Okay.
And then, I guess you don't see Geralt's butt.
Do you? No, I think you do.
I think you get the lower
the
back
opening?
thing. Yeah. He's in the bath. Starts off with him in the bath.
Well.
Yeah, you see some sexy legs in the back.
There you go. There's some fan service for the
fake
ladies.
out. It's
What
like,
about the feet?
What's up? Oh, yeah, you
his
get
feet.
Oh, yeah.
I felt his feet looked a little too dainty.
Yeah?
I felt like if he's a Witcher, he's got those scars all over his body. Feet were a little feminine.
They were actually pretty unblemished, right?
Yeah.
His feet must not get into a lot of trouble.
Calluses, no hair,
You
no
think
scars.
this guy's a warrior who walks lots of places and is fighting all the time? Like he'd have some fucked up feet. No. It looked like he just had a pedicure.
He's got a
His toenails
regular.
are nicely trimmed.
Yeah, I mean, he goes and gets that taken care of regularly because Yennefer isn't down for nasty feet. That's your love interest in this.
Gotcha. Maybe he's into feet.
The feet are your platform for your sword. So maybe he's got to take care of his platform to
Your root. There you go.
effectively fight.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know. I'm reaching here. But it's fun. I look forward to playing some more.
Yeah, it's very open world.
Which normally I don't like.
You don't. That's true.
You don't like open world.
It is. It's open world, but it's not sandbox. I wouldn't say. Like it's.
So it's not
It's
not
pretty
Skyrim
focused.
open world.
No.
Is it more Dragon Age open world?
It's big.
Where it's like you open up different parts of it at different times?
No, it's less. Dragon Age is open world, but it still felt more kind of almost on railsy in that you had to go, like the maps were very linear. This is still open. Like you can go anywhere in the different zones. I haven't crossed into a different zone yet. I'm still in that first zone you start in. But there's not an overwhelming amount of things to do. I think that maybe is the big difference. At least so far, there was like 5 or 6 quests, and there's little points of interest you can go check out. But
there's like a job board where you can.
Twitter's suggesting a drinking game for the patch where everyone has to take a shot when you mention Hearthstone.
We'd get fucked up.
That's great. They wouldn't remember the rest of the patch.
Sloshed.
Yeah, then guess what? I'm not going to talk anything but being drunk about anything else other than being drunk and about Hearthstone.
All right, so the game starts now. Get out your shot glasses and your beverage of choice, your milk.
Milk?
And let's go.
All right.
We'll give you the opening of the patch free.
Oh, well, I mean,
no, you got to catch up.
Well, I'm probably done for the episode at this point.
Well, we'll see. We'll see, Gus. We'll see. At least we can probably get a shot or 2 in.
Yeah.
Well, we need to be ready too. Then next week we'll be ready for it.
All right.
Hardcore Diet Coke all the way.
Yeah, but
it's my milk.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm looking forward to playing some more and trying to figure it out, see if I can get better at combat and everything. It's just so much to get through on that controller.
It is, yeah. It takes some getting used to. Once you do, though, it's not bad. Learning, it's almost sort of similar in some ways to Dark Souls, where you just have to learn various enemies' attack patterns to know what you should step out of the way of, what you should try and parry. There's a lot of achievements in that game that are just like parry 10 without getting hit. So that whole combat system, if you just follow the achievements, you'll pretty much master everything you need to know.
So. Okay, that sounds about right. As a normal, you're a PC guy, but you're playing on Xbox One. Do you have any plans to switch over to PC?
No, probably not. I mean, because I already have a code for it on Xbox One. At that point, I could go back and play it on PC just for different graphical solutions, but...
or like maybe the keyboard will be better for all
the... Hey, look at that.
Hey, what's up?
Meg,
Thank you.
Meg delivers.
Oh, that is whipped cream vodka. That is going to be dangerous. Is that from my desk? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put it over here for now, so it's not in the way. I don't think we're going to have to use it, but if we do, we're ready.
So, Gus, what's your favorite card game?
Gwent.
I almost fell for it.
Wow.
But there is another complaint I have about the game. It's super minor. It only affects you one time, and I think they can patch this. They should be able to patch this. When you're starting a new game, if you don't have a save to import, which you can't import on a console, you have to. Okay, whatever. You can't import a save. So when you start the game, it asks you if you want to have the world automatically pre-populated. It's basically the question that's going to stage whether or not the NPC shows up to ask you questions to populate the world to your tastes. The way it phrases the question and the way it presents your answers, I wasn't clear which was which. I had to do some Google searches to find other people who had the same problem and who then...
Which was it? Because I may have answered it wrong.
I think you have to answer... I don't remember the exact wording, but you have to answer in the positive. Whatever yes or positive. Confirm is, that's the one. And the problem is, it's not like you make that selection and then the NPC immediately shows up. You make that selection, you play the game for a couple of hours, and then the NPC shows up. So if you make the wrong selection and you don't know, you may not find out for several hours. So I think they just need to go back in and re-clarify the way that the question was written and maybe have a tooltip or something that explains what the answers are.
Well, that's not the only dialogue problem they've had.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Well, this one,
the Korean language?
There was the Korean language thing where they listed the game as being available in Korean, but something happened technically and the Korean language didn't make it for launch for the PC version. It's in the console version. It's not in the PC version. They didn't elaborate onto why, just technical hurdles or something.
What?
And they're like, yeah, it'll be in a few days, but
they said by May 21st that they'll have it.
Right. So by the time this patch is out, it'll probably be there.
Be patched.
But they didn't tell anybody before launch. So Koreans are upset because they, like a lot of people, were really excited for the game, took it off work, and then couldn't understand a damn thing.
Because it's the first time that they've supported the Korean language natively. Out of the box. Right.
I think they've had language packs downloadable for previous versions, but this is the first time that supposedly out of the box it was going to be supported, and then...
Well, and then a poke in the eye.
I mean, it was kind of nice. As an apology, they gifted every person who had bought Witcher 3 copies of Witcher 1 and 2.
Which is great.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Which is great, because I feel like... This game in particular, a lot of people are going to pick it up with 3.
Actually, I tried. Witcher 1 came out in one of the Steam sales, and I picked it up. It's hard to go back that far.
Right.
I will say, if you're interested in completing the series, I wouldn't play 2 or 3 until you've done 1.
Really?
Because if you jump into 2 and then try and go back to 1, it's like, oh.
Is it just age? Is it lack of polish? Is it just graphical?
It's partially graphical, but it's all right when you're running at a high resolution. The main thing is just the control system. Well, it takes a dramatic step back with the controls.
Wow.
It's like, there's one button fighting, sort of, almost.
That sounds great. That sounds really straightforward.
It's rough.
It's
still rough. Like, the playability of it is not great either. So if it was one button that was really enjoyable, that'd be fine, but it's not.
It's funny because it's funny how control schemes and the way
the
way we play games changes. Because like a year ago, I went back and replayed Knights of the Old Republic, and I sat down. I was like, "What the fuck is this control scheme?" At the time I played it, I remember not batting an eye at it.
You didn't know any better,
right? And then like going back and knowing what we know now, it was really hard to pick up and start playing.
But the graphics didn't bother you.
Well, I knew what I was in for.
Yeah, I mean that's been ported now to iPad, hasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
So,
here, I want to read this. I'm knocking over my shot glass. I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. If you listen to the show, you've heard me talking about dollarshaveclub.com. I've got their stuff right here. They deliver amazing razors for a few bucks. First time I heard about the club, I was skeptical. I didn't think a razor that only cost a few bucks could deliver a great shave. It seemed too good to be true, but then I tried them, and I got the most amazing shave I've had in years. My skin felt like silk. If you're still using those bags of plastic disposals, the ones people steal from the gym, just stop. DollarShaveClub.com razors cost less than those flimsy plastic things, and the shave doesn't even compare. I can't have a bunch of nicks and cuts on my face because I work on video a lot, and I'm pretty, let's be honest. If anyone needs
so pretty.
If anyone needs a high-quality razor, it's me. It's this face. Don't be fooled by the affordable price. These razors are legit, and you'll never go back. Plus, they've got Dr. Carver's shave butter, so if you're still using old-fashioned shave foam, you're missing out. Try dollarshaveclub.com/patch today. That's dollarshaveclub.com/patch. There's the refills. So you should do it. Where was I? Going back to my notes here. Okay, I think we talked about The Witcher 3 a lot more than I thought we would.
It's a really interesting game to talk about, and it's not like it's serialized, so you don't get one every year.
It's also the only
game
that's serialized, the only new game that's out, really.
No, there's one more notable release
that?
this week. House of Wolves.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
But that's not not a new game. You spent like all of yesterday playing House of Wolves.
We did.
Didn't you?
We shot a bunch of stuff in House of Wolves.
Spoiler alert. I just tried to drink my shot glass. It's empty.
Just to sip on air.
So
I'm not going to say it out of spite now.
So, say what?
You can't disappoint Twitter.
Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll sneak one in. So it seems to me, I haven't played House of Wolves yet. It seems to me that the reception so far has been on the positive side.
There's good notes to it. So basically what they've added, there's a new, essentially kind of a tower zone in the Queen's Reef, which, your brain's going to eventually squish that together into something that you shouldn't say.
Oh, no, it's already squeezed together.
There you go.
Me. I got that one. It's impolite and funny.
Queef.
Yeah. The queef.
There's like 5 new story missions that are, they're all right. I mean, it's pretty, as with any Destiny story mission, you could basically pay no attention to it and probably get the same experience. Except there's a different person jabbering in your ear. Again, no sign of the Dinklebot. He's gone his own way. So they've got some kind of new bounties, but they're weekly. They're not daily. So the new Queen's bounties, which are usually 2 assassination missions, they've added basically a new public event sort of thing where there's now a fallen ship that'll just show up in certain zones and drop a bunch of enemies that you fight. And at the end of that, you can get a special chest that has some drops in it. There's some new stuff. They raised the level cap again. There's no new raid. There's the new arena mode.
Right? That's going to be. There will be a raid. There's just not a raid yet.
I don't think the raid's going to be tied to House of Wolves.
I don't think
there's no raid associated with it. They'll just say they'll deliver a raid later.
No, what they added.
I thought that the way they were determining expansion was that it had one a new content for each game mode, including raids.
Well, what they added, and I don't know, maybe this fills the slot for them, was they've added 2 things. They've added a new kind of multiplayer sort of tournament system, which is the Trials of Osiris. And that's a 3v3 single death elimination. Should be like really fast, light games. And there's a ranking system where if you get to the end of 9 wins, then you can unlock special rewards. And there's like a 2-win, a 3-win, think a 5-win and a 9-win tiers. And there are things that you can get in the game that'll make like a 1-win count for 2. So you get a double tier, or 1 loss doesn't matter. Because it's once you lose, you're out. You got to start again. But that's only on the weekends. So you can't play that right now. So House of Wolves is out, but you won't be able to play that till Friday. Okay. The other thing they added was this kind of a horde mode based thing, which is a kind of arena where it's 4 rounds, one against each of the different factions that you fight in Destiny, and it's all right. I mean, it's a pretty standard 3-player horde mode. It doesn't really do anything super revolutionary. At the end of the 4 rounds, you then have like a boss fight, which is one of their fairly typical bullet sponge kind of bosses. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of that, the big payoff is you get to use treasure keys, if you found any, to unlock a big treasure chest, and you get a legendary or an exotic. Or
Borderlands 2, huh?
Like really cool eye patches, maybe?
None so far. Also, you're always wearing a helmet, so it's if you were wearing an eye patch, no one would
go on the outside.
You know what one of my favorite game settings is when you can go in and you can be wearing a helmet, but you can check a setting so that it doesn't appear, so you can still see your head. Mm-hmm. One of the worst things about the games where you can create a character is you spend all this time, well, some of us spend all this time, like hours, creating an awesome character, stick a helmet on their head, and you never see them for the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. It's the worst.
Well, in most cases, you're running behind them anyway, right? I mean, third person is this view.
I'll take hair, just a
I made that hair.
But lots
That's
of times
my hair.
In cinematics, they'll use it, and you'll see like your face covered up with a helmet or something.
Well, they even a lot of times will have a face or a helmet off in cinematic option. I think that was kind of maybe the precursor to just don't show the helmet.
Yeah, just get the benefits without any of the cosmetics.
Big fan of invisible helmets. Yeah, it's magic. Most of this is.
I'm wearing an invisible helmet right now. No, don't test it. It's acting up. It's being very finicky. So one of the I love bizarre news, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Most bizarre news. I just read this right before we came on to record the patch. Is I guess the items that Osama bin Laden had while he was in hiding have become public knowledge. And believe it or not, this is video game related. He had a strategy guide for a video game called Delta Force Extreme 2. Oh, yeah, here's everything. But the strategy guide for Delta Force Extreme 2 and a, quote, video game guide by GameSpot. I don't know what the fuck a GameSpot video game guide means.
Right.
I'm really curious about the Guinness Book of World Records Children's Edition 2008.
Well, I'm also really intrigued about this game. I've never heard of it before, but I feel like... And actually, they spelled it wrong. I mean, they obviously here the control room copy and pasted what the government put out, but it's actually Delta Force Extreme 2. No E at the beginning of Extreme. It starts with the letter X.
I like the silk screening instructions. That's great. He was going to make T-shirts. He was going to make his own fan art.
I feel like we should do a podcast Let's Play in Delta Force Extreme 2.
He had a lot of weird stuff.
Man.
Delta Force Extreme 2. Here we go. First-person shooter by Nova Logic.
Really?
Here we go.
It was released in 2009 on the PC, and it was not well received at all.
He probably thought it was like an actual simulator where he could test his defenses.
I don't know, but it's from what I haven't played it, but from what I'm reading here, it was a Rainbow Six style game.
Came out in 2009. It's available through Steam.
I wonder if this is like a boom for their sales.
like what the hell was he playing? I got to try this.
Yeah, but
because I'm curious now.
But then we got to know what the GameSpot guide was too. I didn't think they did paper guides.
So the
are you sure it's not like a Prima guide to something?
According to the Kotaku article, they tried to speculate, and I'm quoting the Kotaku article here. As for the GameSpot video game guide, I have no idea. I believe GameSpot used to put out holiday-timed print magazines to coincide with the shopping season. Maybe that's what that is?
He got a gift guide?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, sure. If he, has gamers in his life for Christmas presents.
I don't know. I'm really, really intrigued.
I guess for no, I'm not going to say that.
Maybe it's just like fan stuff. Maybe they were just sending him things like, "Oh, Osama, you totally love this. You should check this game out."
Maybe he was creating his own wish list. He's like, "Man, this Delta Force Extreme 2 sucks. This time I'm going to tell him what game to buy me."
That was a really weird list. There was a suicide prevention book. There was also like a sports nutrition thing.
Well, I mean, he was on dialysis, right? Like he had kidney function problems. He had to be very careful about his nutrition.
He did?
I think so.
Oh,
I think so.
I don't know, really.
That was one of the jokes about why was it so hard to find him, because he's like 6'4" on dialysis. It's like, this guy has very specific needs. Come on.
We all have our very specific needs. I have the need for Hearthstone.
Oh, he did it.
Here we go.
I also have the need for alcohol.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ryan, you don't get any.
Yay!
You just fill that with Coke, all right?
I'm out.
Here.
Also, it's not really that impressive.
Have some water.
Thanks.
All right.
That way, at least looks the same.
To my favorite game.
Let me dip it.
Hey.
There we go.
Gross.
What? I less contact with her drink.
That was a big shot.
That was also delicious.
I took it like a champ. I didn't think it would be that hard.
So the other...
you took it like a champ?
Very seductive, Ryan. I feel really warm. What I thought was going to be the weirdest piece of news of the week, which got replaced by the Osama talk, was the Nintendo hiring their new VP of sales, Doug Bowser.
Do you think he changed his name like as a tactic to be like instantly like memorable in the application process?
Well, they do say to tailor your resume.
When they're going through all the resumes, they see this guy's named Bowser, and they immediately went, "Get this guy in here."
I love
right
their
now.
press release. So their press release headline is, oh, look, you got another Diet Coke there. Their press release headline is, Nintendo of America hires Bowser as new VP of sales. Then the subtitle is, Doug Bowser brings decades of experience, not fire breath, to new role.
Love it.
So they definitely are embracing it and going for it. So that's...
When a Bowser falls in your lap, you just got to roll with it. I mean, that's too great a coincidence.
Right. They need to get him out on the E3 presentation, because I guess Iwata is not going to be at E3 this year.
Oh, really?
Yep. So he's not...
Oh, wait.
Nintendo has a weird relationship with E3 anyway.
They did the Nintendo Direct last year. They didn't even have a presser.
Right. So he'll probably do a part of the Nintendo Direct from Japan. Totally fine. They have such a non-traditional approach anyway, in that they do their Nintendo Direct to everyone. Well, I guess everyone kind of does something to everyone now. And then they'll have a whole bunch of game consoles set up at Best Buys around the country so that everybody can play the games, not just journalists. It's actually a really cool approach,
and
I think.
This year, they're bringing back the Nintendo World Championship.
First time in 25 years.
It's only open to U.S. residents.
And it's only in 8 cities.
You can only qualify from 8 cities. Yeah. Like, you figure if they're calling it the World Championship, they would have some qualifying tournaments.
Yeah, like the World Series
or
the... that's the only one I got. There's probably more, right?
Did they announce which games are involved yet?
I don't think so.
Let me look that up, because they didn't when they announced that they were bringing it back. But I was really curious, like, what will actually be.
Are they going to allow the Power Glove?
It's so bad. So it's at these 8 locations, and I think they're each Best Buys. Yeah, there they are. And I think only the first 750 people at each location are going to be allowed in to attempt to qualify.
Oh God, I can't imagine those lines. That's going to be awful.
Yeah. It seems like it's a really compressed time frame, because they announced it like a month before E3. Now they got to go through all of this and then get those people out to E3. And Lord knows it's hard enough to find a hotel out there.
Maybe that's to keep the population down, because if you don't have really time to schedule travel, then you're looking at a lot more local populations around those playing zones, testing zones. What are they calling them?
We should go to Dallas.
All right.
Let's go to Dallas.
When is it?
Hold on. Looking all this stuff up.
If it's on a Wednesday, we should do a patch from the line out and down
outside.
So,
I'm sure everyone in the control room is cursing at me now. May 30th. That's not a Wednesday.
May 30th? That's a Saturday.
Saturday? We're not going to do anything on a Saturday.
I'll be on
a
plane.
Can't make us.
You'll be on a plane?
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
Going to Germany.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Gonna learn some history. Where are the games here?
For a video game thing.
So let's see. So their old school world championship. By the way, I don't know if you noticed. So they announced it with a video with Reggie Fils-Aimé, and Mega 64 directed and made that video for them. Yeah.
I'm not remotely surprised. Nintendo and Mega 64 have a really good relationship. Remember that one they did? The
Mecha whatever.
They did. Mecha Reggie was last year.
Yes, that was their E3 video for last year.
But then remember, it was several years ago. This was I want to say it was GDC Awards, and they did one where they were hopping around the show acting like, I think, Mario and Luigi. And then they spotted Miyamoto, and it was crazy because it was a Miyamoto cameo, and he hadn't done anything for a really long time, and so he got a cameo. Mega 64 got the Miyamoto cameo. Those guys are fucking crazy. Well, they don't even like Mexican food.
They would also get no, they don't like Tex-Mex. They love Mexican food. They don't like Tex-Mex.
That is an insult.
No, they're right. They're absolutely
right.
Tex-Mex is the fucking worst.
Look, I like Texas food, and if you want to add Mexican food to Texas food, I'm just going to be even happier.
Tex-Mex is just Mexican food covered in queso.
What do you call Torchy's? You don't think
awful? Torchy's is the worst.
Torchy's is amazing.
Torchy's,
you shut your mouth.
I wish every Torchy's would burn down.
I went there last month. They had a taco that had a waffle in it and fried chicken and bacon, and you could pour syrup on it.
That's not a taco.
It was so good.
Torchy's is awful. Don't ever eat there.
I have no position on this really, but I like to watch you fight.
People who are competing in the Nintendo World Championship are going to be playing Championship Mode in Ultimate NES Remix, trying to notch high scores in Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 3, and Dr. Mario.
Wow.
I do like that they're doing a lot of old school games. That makes me happy. I'm a little bit surprised, honestly. I would have expected Smash Brothers. Is Smash Brothers not on there at all?
We may see it like maybe when they do their finals in LA.
Right, like maybe they're holding those qualifiers separately. Because it just seems like of all the games that they have out now, Smash Brothers would be the one that they'd be featuring in a competitive capacity.
Yeah, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, maybe.
Yeah, they'll have the finals and the big showdowns in LA as part of E3. So I imagine they're just doing this to find the people who are going to move on and compete in the next round.
It's like on all those the American voice person shows where they go around and do the smaller zones, and then you have to audition to get on the big show.
Right. I'm going to LA. They got the golden ticket.
Yay!
That show that's getting canceled.
Wait, what's getting canceled?
American Idol.
I thought you said golden ticket. I was like, when did Willy Wonka get a TV show?
I got a golden ticket.
No, continue.
I'm done. Actually, that's the end of the song, as far as I'm aware.
It's just repeat that over and over.
It's just all chorus.
That's the chorus and the verse and everything.
Right, and then there's a bunch of dancing around in pajamas, right?
Well, of course. Okay. Well, you got to get Grandpa out of bed, where he's in bed with his other grandpa and grandma.
Don't ask.
Like they like to party.
It was a crazy time. Chocolate does.
The bed's like in the middle of the house too.
Chocolate's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well,
speaking of that,
we're talking about E3. Sorry, I'm gonna hijack you here. So we're talking about E3. Microsoft and Sony have both announced, when their pressers are, and so they're both their traditional times. Monday, I think Microsoft is in the morning, Sony's in the evening.
And I think Square Enix moved theirs by an hour.
They did?
They moved because Nintendo announced when their Nintendo Direct is, and I think it's Tuesday morning. So Square Enix moved out of Nintendo's time spot.
Man, that's like
I think it was Square Enix.
That's like rubbing your dick all over someone. It's like fuck your time.
A little bit, but it's also like top dog platform, bottom dog everybody else.
Yeah, but jeez,
you don't compete with the platforms because the platforms are going to be announcing their platform exclusives plus all the big double stuff. I mean,
is Nintendo still a big platform for Square Enix though?
Probably not for Square Enix, but you just don't compete with the platforms.
Yeah, you still wouldn't want to go against them.
You leave them. You want an hour all to yourself. And if Nintendo's not going to budge, and they're Nintendo, so they're like, I'm just going to do this time. Move it an hour. Who cares?
Is Square Enix doing theirs from LA, or are they doing it from remotely?
They're doing theirs from LA.
No, if I were Square Enix, I would have said fuck it. I would have dug my heels in. Nintendo, I assume, is doing theirs.
You're not going to get Nintendo to move.
Yeah, but you're not Square Enix.
I know Nintendo wouldn't move.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't move.
It'd be really tough though, because then you're splitting journalists between two different conferences.
Right, but they're watching virtually versus sitting there physically.
But journalists aren't going to be able to be at both at once.
True. All right, maybe you're a little smarter than me. I still disagree about Torchies.
Yeah, well, we know about that.
I still think Torchies is bad. By the way, I got the invite to the Microsoft E3 presser, so I'll send that to you.
Great. That's honestly, we've got a really big E3 this year. We can't really talk about it yet. I think we might be able to talk about it a little bit next week. But can I be honest, is we've gone to a lot of these pressers the last couple of years, and I feel like there's no point being at the actual press conference.
Unless they give something away, right?
Unless
Weren't
they
they giving away Xboxes?
In which case, like, you get a free console, and that's really, really great. Free consoles are awesome. But every time I've been at a press conference, I've been really frustrated because I'm sitting there and I can't do anything until the conference is over. Whereas if you watch it remotely as a group, what I'd like to do this year, I don't know if it's technically possible, but I think it'd be really cool to be able to like stream the conferences in and then stream them out with commentary So there's a couple seconds delay, but basically Mystery Science Theater 3000, the conferences.
We could do it via chat room on our website where we can embed the stream and then you could be communicating via the chat.
Potentially, but if we could do audio, that would be awesome as well. So we'll see, because there's technical hurdles there. We'll be in LA for that time, so maybe we can do it from the full screen offices. I'm not really sure yet, but it seems like it's more valuable to not be at the streams anymore.
Or
not,
at the
like,
actual
not be
show,
at the actual conferences, because
no, you're not wrong.
You see everything when in the
Usually
stream.
better.
Everyone can see everything in the stream, and I feel like people watching it somewhere else get a better experience.
In stream too.
It's flashy at the event. But it's really impractical.
Well, if you're watching on the stream too, you get a full frame video that is actually played in front of you instead of projected up on a screen that's half blotted out by the stage lights.
You're also getting a view that a director has determined this is the best way to present this information right now. So you're up close into the action.
Now, that being said, you may not get no audio when it plays, or it may just be a black screen.
It may buffer or be super, like, 144p.
Yeah, there's been their fair share of stream whoopsies.
I feel like that's decreased over time.
It's gotten better, but it's really hard to completely stamp it out, especially with just the nightmare that is the internet anywhere around any of these conventions.
Yeah. I got to read one more thing here. I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is also brought to you by Trunk Club. When it comes to clothing, men all over the world agree on 2 simple facts. 1, when you look great, you feel even better. And 2, the time it takes to actually shop for, find, and buy those great-looking clothes absolutely sucks. Trunk Club gets it, and that's why they've taken the pain out of finding great-looking clothes by shipping you a trunk of clothes that fit perfectly and make you look amazing. At trunkclub.com/thepatch, you answer a few simple questions about your look, style, and size. You're assigned an expert who will handpick clothes that are just right for you. After getting to know you and your preferences, your stylist will email you their recommendations curated from only the best premium brands. You approve what you like, and boom, a trunk full of great clothes handpicked just for you arrive at your door. Try them on, keep what you want, send back what you don't in their prepaid trunk, and that's it. Trunk Club is the easiest way to refresh your wardrobe this spring. Your stylist, the shopping, the trunk, even the shipping are all 100% free when you go to trunkclub.com/thepatch. Looking great is important, and Trunk Club has made it easy. Only pay for the clothes you keep, no ongoing subscription, no hidden charges, just great clothes handpicked for you. I used it, and you're going to thank me on this. And right now, it's completely free, so go get started at trunkclub.com/thepatch. That's trunkclub.com/thepatch. I actually talked about them quite a bit on the podcast on Monday, but it's super easy, super straightforward. And the big thing to remember if you decide to try it is they suggested a bunch of stuff for me, and I thought, well, I don't like some of this stuff. I'm going to not get it. And I thought, well, it's free. There's no point not to have them send it to you. So, they sent it all, and some of the stuff I thought I didn't like, when I got it in person, tried it, I was like, oh, this is actually awesome. So I kept a bunch of it. So try it out. It's really handy.
Bernie's been doing it, and at first I was like, you just had people send you clothes. You're going to try on what you want and then send what you don't want back. Nothing's going back, because I know how I do things, which is whenever I order clothes, I'm like, I'll just try it on. If I don't like it, I'll send it back. And I try it on and go, no, I'm going to send this back. And I put it in the box it came in or whatever, and then it sits there for a billion years, because I don't want to be attaching a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't know where to drop it off. I don't want to get pay for extra postage. It just sits there forever. I've got a ton of stuff that's just sitting there completely wasted. They put tape in the box.
Yeah,
so you can take the box back closed.
It's so easy. And then you just schedule a UPS to come pick it up. You just leave it on your front door, and then
it was
UPS
amazing.
Takes it. Yeah,
I was super impressed.
I was super impressed about the tape too. I feel like Bernie didn't appreciate the tape, but I really appreciated it.
It's the details, really.
Yeah, I think he was like, oh, this is a nice touch, but for me that was like, this is the difference between sending stuff back and not. Is it's like, you just close it.
No more excuses.
It's amazing.
Yep.
I should really get on that. People have caught on to the fact that I own 4 shirts.
You should go to trunkclub.com/thepatch. Don't tell anyone. All right.
You got the hookup?
That'll be our little secret.
Showbiz has finally paid off.
Yes, I want to get back to some E3 talk. Bethesda, or it, I guess, released the shortest Doom trailer ever. The shortest video I think I may have ever seen.
Seconds.
So do you think that's a red herring?
And most of it was title cards.
Yeah, the important question, though, do you think it's a red herring?
What do you mean?
Well,
do you think it's a red herring to draw... Let me see if I can see where you're going with this, all right? We're playing a game. Is this a red herring to draw attention away from the potential Fallout 4 leak by getting people talking about Doom instead?
If so, that's...
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that's a good plan. I don't think that'll work. People are super jazzed about...
Well, maybe they're trying to lower
Fallout
expectations.
4.
Maybe there's not going to be a Fallout 4 this year announced.
But in that
I
case,
swear to God, I think I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And I will start a riot in the theater if there's no Fallout 4 mentioned. I'm gonna light a chair on fire. You already invited me, Bethesda. You can't take that back.
This is why you have to go. If you're not there, if you're just watching on the stream, you can't burn the building down.
No. Here's the thing. We will send Gus, and then we will watch while he burns down the building, and we don't have to worry about escaping with our lives.
That's a good point.
It's gonna be like 2001. I'm gonna find like a bone and just start clubbing like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, is the leak for Fallout 4 is an interesting one. I was worried it was going to be another, Survivor. Was it 2299, 2266? I always get those numbers wrong. But this was someone on their LinkedIn, which a lot of people can't see, just saying they worked on a cinematic trailer. Now, here's the thing: is that doesn't necessarily mean that it's being announced at E3. But they're working on a cinematic trailer, and that work wrapped up in March.
If that's also a true story.
Look, cinematic trailers can also be used to pitch the game for sales, just to get it made. So it may have nothing at all to do with production.
Maybe, but it's not like Bethesda has to go and be like, we'd really like to make this game. It's called Fallout.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Bethesda and ZeniMax, their publisher, are pretty much the same thing. It's like one hand trying to sell something to the other.
Right. A lot of times it feels almost like ZeniMax is just like a holding company, and Bethesda runs everything. Keep in mind, there's Bethesda Game Studios too, which is different from there's Bethesda Game Studios, there's ZeniMax Online, which was the Elder Scrolls Online people, and then there's another Bethesda.
There's also
Bethesda
id
Software. Right, but is id now a wholly owned subsidiary?
No, they're
or
owned,
are they independent?
I believe they're owned by ZeniMax, but they're so that puts them right there with Bethesda as well.
Oh, by the way, Ryan, at X Inspired also wants Trunk Club to send you shoes because apparently, goddamn,
they're just black shoes.
Trunk
they
Club
go with everything.
Trunk Club does send you shoes. I will tell you.
I
got 2
I've
shoes
already
on my
been
last shipment.
socked. Okay, do you know the number of socks showing up? And look, it's a whole thing.
Why are you getting socked?
Look, so Jeff was buying these $15 socks, and then I was like, "Why are you buying $15 socks?" And then he's like, "I'm going to buy everybody $15 socks. So you understand why $15 socks are good?" So we got $15 socks, and then everybody else is like, "Socks, you should wear."
So are $15 socks good?
I don't know. I haven't put them on yet. I was saving it for a video because they keep showing up, so I figured I'd just swim in them first.
Are you too good for $15 socks?
You can take your $15 socks and put them in your old man shoes, apparently, because that's how everyone says they look. And by everyone, I mean at X Inspired.
I would like to it be abundantly clear at this point that I am not at all interested in what girds this body. Like, you can wrap me in anything. I don't give a shit.
Can I?
But Ryan, your fans, they are interested in girding.
Obviously, they like me regardless of what I'm wearing.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, hey, shout out to you fans for putting up with my absolute lack of style.
That is the most pandering thing that's ever been said on this stage.
Yeah, the 2 guns.
You're the real winners, fans. Enough about that.
Especially since this is a predominantly audio podcast.
There is one more thing I want to say about E3.
Okay.
One more thing. I've never... we do a lot of work with Microsoft, obviously, because of Red versus Blue and whatnot, but I've never received an invite to a Sony E3 presser in the past. So I want to go to the Sony E3 presser this year.
Do it.
I don't know how to go about that.
Do it. We just want to include you on whatever awesome commentary.
This is me asking. Sony, can I go? I will not start a riot.
Go,
I will not treat you like Bethesda.
Please.
He won't take the torch to yours. We promise.
Yeah.
No, we don't promise anything on his behalf because...
I promise.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a royal we.
And I expect a lot more Morpheus announcements out of them. They just started up that studio in the UK, Northwest Studios.
Well, I don't think they just started that up. That's kind of been going for a while now, right? I thought they just, that was an announcement, but I thought that studio has been focusing on Morpheus even before that. Or unless they've got a second UK studio now working exclusively on Morpheus.
They better be. I mean,
because I thought they'd refocus one of the studios they had specifically for Morpheus a while ago. I could be remembering it wrong, but I don't know if this was just newly an announcement or a second studio. But they've got, in that case, they've got a couple working on Morpheus now. They're saying that it could be out within the next year, right?
They said it'll be released the first half of 2016. So this is definitely the time where they need to announce the shit.
Yeah, I mean that whole platform is going to live or die based on basically the first party titles that'll get people interested in using it.
Yeah, by E3 we are essentially within 12 months of a launch window for it. So it's time to to really start showing some real world applications and some real world use scenarios for it.
Especially for Morpheus, because it's basically locked to that one platform.
Right. Studios in Northwestern England. No, I think you're right. It doesn't say anything about it being a new. Well, it is. So the job posting says it's an exciting and rare opportunity to join an ambitious new studio to create original games. So it's probably a young studio. It's probably not brand new.
Okay, so that might be the one, because there was another studio. Oh, they were.
Thinking.
I'm just gonna let that hang there.
Hanging pause.
I feel like there was another game they were working on.
If you were a computer, you'd have like the beach ball or the hourglass in front of you right then. You're like click, 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 click. God damn it.
Yeah, I feel like they were working on something before, and then they said they were working on some Morpheus stuff, but they had been newly refocused, or the studio was reformed from something else. But that's all. That's all the vaguest stuff. Information. I don't know. Hold on.
Oh, you put Tara in a bad way. Sorry, Tara. Yeah, Gus outed your comment about my shoes. Huh? What? Yeah, she responded, "No, I swear it's not me. I don't care about the shoes. I'm commenting on something other fans say." Sob.
No, she commented about the shoes.
I'm the one who.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, that's how I was confused.
Sorry, Tara.
Hey, Tara.
I know it was you.
Tara, you did use the term "old man shoes." I'm just saying.
I did see that tweet.
Sony UK Morpheus Studio, and let me see if I can find something that's older than like this week.
So yeah, I feel like we haven't had much Morpheus news lately, but I feel like that's because they're saving it for E3 to put on a big splash.
That, and I mean, now that the hardware's talking 2016, so they may sit on it for a little bit longer just to really make a bigger splash when all that stuff's ready. That's the problem with this stuff. Whenever you launch new hardware, and I mean, Kinect never really took off because they never really launched it with something with huge audience appeal. So if they're going to make VR work, they've got to launch it with something that's like, wow, this is why I want this platform. And this is what the future of this platform is that I can see from this.
Right.
Okay, so as far as I can tell, this is a second studio. So there was a Sony London studio, and now there's Northwest, Sony Northwest that's also in the UK. That's
2 UK studios, huh?
That is a little weird.
I guess the Brits are more visual than us or the Japanese. I don't know. It's weird that you'd put all your eggs in one country.
Is it? Does it matter where the game studio?
We'll have a tea drinking simulator.
Oh, I would love that.
Lovely.
What is that tea party simulator?
There's a tea party simulator.
Yeah, there's a tea party simulator. I'm pretty sure we have a how-to in tea party simulator.
We should add. I don't know if it's in.
Just for clarification, it is actually a tea party. I mean, there were so many ways they could have gone with that.
Not like political tea party.
Well, there was the tea party with the chuck the tea in the river and like revolution.
Party, right. The ocean, right? Or was it river?
Well, no, it
was a bay.
Speaking of parties, I don't know if it's in our game club cylinder, but we should add Spy Party in there if it's not in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's in there, but we'll add it.
Cole, can we add Spy Party? Thumbs up from Cole.
Thanks,
Thank you, Cole.
He's on it.
I love it. It's easy. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So we were talking about VR and Morpheus. Did you see the explanation of how Valve's lighthouses work?
Yeah, that was really interesting. It's a very different mindset than how any of the others have done it.
Right.
I mean,
so like essentially the headset is the marker instead of the marker being read from elsewhere, right? If I'm understanding it essentially
basically
correctly?
They can turn anything into a receptor in the sense that it's got 2 broadcast towers, and all the objects, the headset, the hand controls are doing is waiting for incoming light, and then it's measuring the time between. So that's how it's positioning it. It's not using any kind of magnetic system, which is a pretty common system. It's not using a triangulation based on, what was the other ones? Magnetic and optical are pretty much the 2 ways to go. And this is sort of an optical system still. I mean, it's still using photoreceptors to measure incoming light, but I mean, according to, I haven't actually tested it myself, but from what everybody says, it's amazingly accurate, and it's a really low impact system to set up.
Just to explain the way the lighthouse, from what I understand from the article, though I believe the way it works is it's a little box and it shines an LED and then it flashes a laser, and your device times how long it takes for the laser to get to it, that way it knows where it is in space.
Right.
And since there's 2 of them, it can kind of triangulate.
And since there's several points on the device, it can also track orientation and things like that based on where it falls across the device.
They had a really cool slow-mo GIF showing it and showing the laser spinning as well as the lights flashing before each laser comes out.
I think it was at 60 hertz, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So bets on whether this is related to the trademark application for something called Chaperone, which is for virtual reality tracking something or other?
Chaperone.
Maybe that's the official name for.
Is that to go with? Is that to keep kids out of VR porn?
We got an alarm.
Maybe it could be.
Maybe I feel like chaperone could be almost like a VR assistant who helps you with stuff.
Well, so apparently,
why would that be a chaperone?
This was just discovered today, as far as I can tell, but it was filed in March, and it's a trademark at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and the goods and services is described as nope, not that. There we go. Hardware and software, sensors, and beacons for the detection and measurement of physical objects and the representation of such objects in virtual reality environments.
That's very non-specific.
And devices used for the detection and measurement of physical objects and the representation of such objects in virtual reality environments, and electronic apparatus for the detection and measurement of physical objects and the representation of such objects in virtual reality environments.
Yeah. I mean,
so maybe that's the term or like the group of things that they're planning on it being.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Valve basically say that if you would like to use Lighthouse technology, you were welcome to it? Yeah, I mean, they've made it an open platform in that sense. So I don't.
That doesn't mean they can't have a trademark for the name, though.
Or maybe for their use.
You got to trademark a name, right?
But chaperones, that's a weird implication.
It's got a lot of weight to that word.
Yeah.
There's like preconceived notions about it.
Well, either that or like maybe it's meant to accompany the headset.
Yeah, but a chaperone like watches over you.
Here's the
and
lighthouse.
maybe it's meant to watch over the headset, man.
If you scroll down on that page, you can see the GIF as well.
I don't want to be chaperoned, though. You can't tame me, Ashley. You can't put your chaperones all over my life, all right?
So that's the GIF we were talking about, where the lights flash, and then each of those cylinders has a different laser
like a
that rolls
Xerox.
out. Yeah. Beep. I thought that was really neat. That watching that GIF was like, oh, okay, cool. I understand it now. But you were talking about open platforms and virtual reality, which segues perfectly into something else I read this week, which is Oculus CEO Palmer Luckey, or Oculus founder Palmer Luckey, has reiterated that Oculus will be an open platform, and essentially they will not do anything to stop pornography from being on it.
I love it. They also announced this week that they've stopped development for Mac and Linux.
They froze development.
I'm sorry.
Well,
yeah,
I guess
this thing is stopped.
They're saying stopped. It connotates that it's ended and they're not going to continue.
Well, the statement when they announced it was like, we'd like to add this at some point, but we don't even have a timeline now.
Yeah,
they said we're focusing on getting it out for Windows.
That's really weird. Well, I mean, I guess you're assuming then, or the assumption would be then, that they're just going to give up on the market that all the Steam PCs would be filling, because they're going to be most likely going with the Vive.
Or with Valves or whatever, right?
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The HTC Vive is the Valve headset.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I mean, Valve has been doing behind kind of the gaming push to Linux, sorta. I mean, Steam OS is still not really huge traction thus far, but I wonder if that's a reaction to Valve's own system.
Could be.
Maybe, but it might also just be that they're having trouble actually getting a product out, and they're focusing on the one platform where they'll get the most people.
Yeah, well, they could just be trying to put the most polish on it possible and making sure that it works, like you said, for the largest group of people. And then the other stuff is such a minority. It's like such a small number of users. I'm sure they'll worry about them later.
Yeah, they released the recommended specs to be able to run Oculus Rift, and they're pretty beefy. Like they want you to have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM. They want you to have at least an NVIDIA GTX 970. They want you to have, what's the rest?
Or an AMD 290. There it is. Intel i5. Look at that. It's all right there.
I mean,
Intel
i5, that's not really that high. 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's really not a huge amount for modern PCs. I mean,
Windows 7, 2 USB 3 ports, and HDMI 1.3 video
It is interesting that they specify 2 USB 3.0 ports, because I don't think the current DV2 cares.
That game works off of USB 2?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just using it for power.
That's true, but it's not as high resolution.
Doesn't matter. That's coming through HDMI.
Okay.
So the actual device is powered by...
maybe it's going to take twice as much power.
Well, the interesting thing is maybe they're making room for an input. Maybe they're looking for you to be able to plug something into the headset. Or maybe it's because they're now including audio in that, with the DV2 didn't.
Yes. I could see it definitely
DK2, sorry.
I could definitely see it being audio.
Could be, yeah. But 2 USB 3 is kind of weird. I wouldn't think you would need 2. Or maybe they just didn't want to say USB. Well, you need one USB 2 and one USB 3.
Well, USB 3 also does, going back to power, it does provide more power over the bus than USB 2 does, I believe. I don't know what the difference is, but I'm pretty sure USB 3 offers more power, more amps.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's still just a race for who can get the most creative thing to do with it. That's why the porn industry will not be limited, I would imagine, because they're usually the first to market with new devices.
Yay, devices.
Maybe it means that we'll get a VR cattle shoujo.
So we're almost out of time, but I've got to cover the worst news of the week. Okay. Windows 10 is coming with Candy Crush Saga pre-installed for free for everybody. Why? Yeah. Like, they put out a press release like this is a big deal. Why?
People are still playing that, right?
For other people who aren't us or people who don't give a shit about games, Candy Crush is a thing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, it's sort of a step up from Snake, I guess.
Does Snake come on Windows 10?
The real question is, do we still have Minesweeper?
Right.
Ooh, and Solitaire.
Right.
Or Free Cell.
If they traded out any of those games for Candy Crush, there will be riots.
What do you do at Microsoft? I code Solitaire for every new version of Windows.
The special card bounce at the end is really next gen. You're going to love it. It's like they're coming right at you.
I crush Candy for Windows 10. It seems so dumb. And then of course the other thing we have to mention is the first screenshot of Orgrim from the World of Warcraft movie.
Movie could actually be really great.
The first render.
I've been skeptical because I worry there's so many game to movie adaptations that aren't great, but that dude looks awesome. Mm-hmm. He makes all of the orcs in Lord of the Rings look kind of grade school.
Yeah, so apparently ILM is the studio working on that and getting all that done.
Yeah, really cool. I guess they meshed, like they took the look of the orc and then they took the actor and meshed them together.
They made a CGI baby.
Now kiss, and then we ended up with that.
Nice.
Yeah,
all right.
Looks great.
Well, it's time. We got to go. But so I want to thank everyone for watching. We'll be back next Wednesday. Before I go, I just got to say Hearthstone. Bye.
All right, here we go. Oh, we got the game club next.